Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give us a handout and revive us again. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, this is my front, not my back. Just so you know, we're going to be catching up with that in a minute.
Rob.
We have Rob, the attention goes to symphony with girls. Give him a round of applause. This is Rob coming up here to break up in the second half. He's going to close the second half. He is.
Followed by Antoinette and Melissa.
Well, I'm Rob.
You're next.
Yeah, well,
After Rob.
well, Rob.
Then Antoinette, then Melissa.
Yeah, Rob, Antoinette, Melissa, like that. So there we go. Give him a round of applause. Welcome back to the
All right.
Sorry.
Let's see. Before I get to the theme proper, I'm going to address.
Yo!
I'm going to address two sub-themes. Let's see. Just the museum theme that our feature. Hello, feature. The museum theme. If anyone is going to be in New York between now and July, go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. A statue of me was just installed there a few days ago. And for the keynote from tonight, her little sub-theme, my first piece is about that.
Folks, take it outside if you need to talk. Take it outside if you need to talk. It's okay.
Just whisper, just whisper.
This is called Ray of Light.
Ray.
The most sexy person I have met in the city of San Fran is not a woman, and also not a man. To that I say okay, and hip hip hooray. Maybe now I'm finally turning gay. Yet still I'm sad, you see, in fearful misery, mortified that Z will call me binary. And now for the theme proper, which was shelter.
Yes.
This is called 50-50 vision. Gather ye 50 hugs each day, or see your sanity slip away. Laugh out loud 50 times each day, or with your health you'll surely pay. Each sub-50 day you breathe one more minute slice of stress. Think of all those who seethe with hatred and heartlessness. Each time this quota goes unfilled is one more day your grave gets tilled. One more sliver of dirt to slide where your bones will one day reside. Having sex 50 times a day is not required, I'm relieved to say. We need some time for food and work and play. Once a day will do, twice is good too. But if it don't last 50 minutes, you're doing it the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
And this is called me, the shelter of ourself. I love me, because me loves I. Never been a doubt, me's a stand-up guy. Me doesn't care if I get stinky, have a zit on my nose, or wave my little winky. Me doesn't judge, doesn't berate, doesn't fix my shirt or question my weight. Me touches my penis, like every single day. I'm devoted to me. For me, I'd be gay. Me doesn't mind if I've no life plan and watch geek TV, not a penny in hand. If I sing a happy tune while farting at the moon, me just farts and sings too. For you see, I truly love me, and truly, we both love you. And finally, shelter. This is called heart sex. You've been told your biggest sex organ is the brain. Alas, it's time to rethink that again. Your blood-pumping muscle tells the sexiest story. Your corazon, your herz, your hierte, your cuore. But this ain't about loving someone with all your heart. That's called a thought. And this is beyond the brain's chart. Heart sex is about leaving the planet behind for a realm beyond space, beyond time, beyond mind. It begins with some simple penetration, or enveloping, as we say in the feminist nation. It starts when, thus entwined, life disappears. If not for peeing and eating, I would stay there for years. Your spirit overflows and fills your snuggie bear. You're also a vacuum, your lover, rushing air. Maybe you're one, or nothing, or something brand new. The physics would take 3 Einsteins, plus a Tesla or 2. Maybe you vibrate, or levitate, or glow. The question is moot. You'll never ever know. For as long as you're gone, you'll feel only joy. But even that's a word which you cannot employ. Whenever you return, you'll be pretty much where you were, yet struck by the sun's position or absence altogether. A wave of boastful pride may follow the initial shock. Your 4th time, you might even rush to check a clock. If you find someone with whom you can thus fly away, it'll be pretty easy to go back whenever you may. That's the story of heart sex, and I wish you great luck. Your first words after your first time? Probably, holy fuck.
That's right. He is our, what do I call him?
Antoinette.
Antoinette is next. He is the last word, so we'll be hearing him at the end of the second half, the end of the second show, as I like to call it. Give Antoinette a round of applause. He hasn't been here in a little bit of a while. Welcome back.
I have a few this evening. I'll start with meditating miscreants, left by side of road. No soul's labor today, standing lambasted in torment. Paleoliths on vogue, fine-tuned intention, search for silver or copper discs, instead prone to gathering seeds, green and flesh. Our birthright inherent fingers grasp, sit for an hour, watch thoughts swim past, uphill against the current, Savior's strength found in the breath, this time now. Okay. Wonder splashes misty blooms while cool strangers find each other snugly shaded safely in the recognition of Om. Unceremonious sassy women exude bundt cakes in the nude. Barking consumes the night sky until, like a foreign falling star, river currents shoot past the astute, never seeing what they missed. Like favorite song notes almost recalled, God's handmaiden followed her heart, open mouth, breathes out, wow, leading children over, under, and beyond, unfurled her hand, smooth, aged skin, nowhere else does life begin. The other side of that is train robbed before it left the station in the summer of '65, when we all thought we'd lived to forever. It is real now. People die every day. Some we know, most are in the news. Woolen cap pulled over golden curls, cherubic face born in original hippie redwood tub, mother whore, father god, suspenders take flight starry night. Purpose has no end but for truth tellers, vulnerable stance creates space to speak. Wine warms our tongue, tears dry, salty, crisp edge. Round stones piled strategically averted to gravity or earth's warm. Rain rejoices, sliding from pavement, filling deep where green clover shoots. Like drive-by school shootings, man falls, then hastily someone sees his phone, captures crime, telling enforcer's tale today. It's called A Beginning at 90. Oh mon Dieu, she moaned, tossing, an atheist since the Holocaust, how could there be a God? On the way she called, oh mon Dieu. Subtle body shimmers through paper-thin skin, unfurled clenched hands, whispers of gratitude, assurance, permission, dense, warm, vibrant love bringing her to light. Industrial city street stopped at the light, lime green stucco named the garage. First production starts at 8, acupuncture neon flashes above artstuff.com. Tall, flamboyant woman choreographed herself to be there, while brown paper bag ticket holders firm their hats against the wind, stand in line for sold out show. That just brings me to a little plug. My daughter has a dance company called Stranger Lover Dreamer, and they are performing this weekend at the Mission Dance Mission Theater in San Francisco. So anyway, just gonna throw that out there. It's at 24th. It's at 3316 24th, right across from the BART station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And,
it's that building with the dancing on the second floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
And so it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday at 8, Sunday at 6. And tickets are a brown paper bag, and they're $20. But yeah, if you can come, if you have the inkling, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much. Antoinette Payne, ladies and gentlemen. And now, the mighty Melissa Mello.
Mighty.
3 M's right in a row.
Yeah.
So this is still a work in progress. I don't really know what it needs or whatever. That's why I like to read it out loud to you guys, because you're a great audience. So I'm sitting, legs splayed open, soles of socked feet hugging a mason jar filled with boiled water inside a sleeping bag, underneath 3 thick blankets atop this makeshift bed, and I can see my breath in the air on the exhale. While my dog sits by the door of the van, whining, eyes pathetically looking over at the empty portion of the mattress as if to say, let me up, don't you know it's fucking cold in here? And yeah, I know. So I let him up. I always do. And I'm wondering how I got here. Here, living in a van in the middle of San Francisco. And I know, I am living this way on purpose. I must remind myself of the choices I make to live this way on purpose. Like giving away nearly everything I've owned. A treasured collection of books, the first drum kit I bought from a guy on Craigslist, dozens of houseplants I propagated from my beloved grandmother's clippings, a countless number of Hallmark cards marking every occasion saved and given to me by my mother. Like leaving my home of 30 years the week after a devastating heartbreak to drive 4,000 miles across the country in hopes of fulfilling some long-awaited destiny. Like finally committing to something that was ready to receive, even when I felt like I was nothing. I must remind myself of the things I learn by living this way on purpose. Like the shedding of things somehow makes more soul space, feels less suffocating, less like the things I own me. Like life is all just one long series of letting goes anyway. Like shitting in our water supply is one of the most bizarre and disgusting things humans have ever decided was a good idea. I must remind myself of the privilege I still have by living this way on purpose. Like, I realize I am typing this on a tiny laptop in an enclosed space with a lock on the door, lit by LED lights that can change color and turn on and turn off with a remote, and are powered by a solar panel fastened to the roof. Meanwhile, around the corner, a tall, black, homeless man lies in a dirty sleeping bag, curled up in a cement doorway of a building that houses a tech company surrounded by broken bottles, plastic trash, tree limbs recently cut from trunk, and the carcass of a rotisserie chicken from the Whole Foods across the street. Like white privilege is choosing to pay someone $500 a month to live in a van, knowing that if my skin were several shades darker, I would be sleeping in a doorway instead, even with cash in hand. I know this because I heard the lighter-skinned brown man I rent the van from use the N-word and blame all car break-ins in the neighborhood on black people. I know this because I watched in disbelief as he punched a black man in the face just for getting too close to him. Body erect, fists up, he repeated over and over, louder and louder each time. God bless you, sir. Get the fuck out of here. Go. God bless you, sir. Get the fuck out of here. Go. And each time I think of it, my heart still sinks in the sea of sadness and confusion I saw in that man's eyes after the blow. You're gonna hit me like that? And he did walk away, but not too far, and pissed in a corner. Like, some days I wonder how it's possible that anything in this world still feels holy. And I must remind myself that holy is not the glue that holds our God pieces together, but a handhold. Thank you.
Mr. Miller, ladies and gentlemen. And now our first mini of the evening, David E. is coming up to give him a round of applause here. Wait a minute, there's something going on here.
So I write every day. These are from the last week. This was today. Everybody knows what a docent is? Yes. Okay. Teacher, but it's also like a pathfinder. So. The docent was decent and quite debonair. The dough sent the docent was left in his care. The dough sent aroma. Protect her, it's clear. The docent a ranger endeared by the deer. The doe scent was baked. It wafts across the lake. Docent. Wherewithal, a pair of shoes elegant enough to wear with any outfit. 4/4, cut time. And a note to myself, sing it please. It starts with a talka, and I'll give you a dot, 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 and then I'll sing the rest. So I just make it up each time, so. This is only the second time I've done so. 4/4, cut time. Like a sandpiper, I stand on one leg and wait. Save the other leg for emergency escape, resting before quick takeoff. Tuck heel just below crotch, palms together overhead. Back to prayer position. Myrtle, bay, apple, pear, persimmon, cherry, almond, hazelnut, walnut, quince, and plum. Each takes my name in weather vane. Thank you for inviting sunlight into my center. Please return next winter if you are able. Bark and skin exchange greetings. The almond spoke to the sky. Pull down tiny snowflakes, each the size of a large pinhead, each surrounded by a tiny hail halo. As amazing as finding your first butterfly egg under a leaf. Microcosmic. Trees keep me limber. Orchard ladder keeps me steady. Heliocentric. I rotate 180 degrees like a tallow Calvino's baron in the trees. Drill my toes deep into the ground. Generations take root. Visualize. First I see your branch off. Then I saw your branch into the future. Extending tree of life. That was written by Bow and Scrape.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, you're long lost cousins.
Yeah.
Dogs third and twice removed. Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
This is for Sunny, young woman who's the daughter of a very dear and old friend of mine. It's called Wake. When 'tis said motley whence the crew, who raise a row behind the prow, toe the line and taste the dew. Her parents are Phil and Orlean. Toe the line and taste the dew. Bend the knee, elongate thigh. Your wit is keen, your legs are lean. Atop the sparkle, pull and fly. This legacy of sport to fill. An empty cup, a test of will. Oh, won't you redeploy your skull? Take to wing, foraging gull. Oh, pain, yes, pain, with every stitch. Humor nondescript, nonsuch. The trigger cocks, the lover's swain. Return to pull the oar again. In scholarship you race amaze. No need for pop the funds to raise. Every time you sit the seat, team inspired feels the beat. Your brow refined, your muscles scream. A skipping stone, a fever dream. This is no jest, your plight is real. Sunset, twilight, bend like steel. Experience has made you tough. The choice is yours to say enough for Sunny. So, how many people know who Buddy Bolden is? 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is called Emboldened. Buddy Bolden was a saxophone player across the Mississippi, 1890s, playing to the French Quarter. Pre-jazz, jazz. If you're looking for a poem, write the lines first. Choose the title last. It's like Lester Young, no tonic pres, short for president. He would play all around the one, make you feel it without ever landing on it. Leave room for it to emerge. Touchstone. Dig in. Amphibian, two salamander species have crawled beneath my garden pots and find the living easy. My neighbor's plants proliferate. Raised bed received more sun. A simple fisted catalyst propelling every one. Avocado, strawberry, raspberry, potato, tomato, comfrey, lemon balm, verbena, on my say-so, oregano or marjoram, 1 carrot, columbine, iris, currant, red and black, collard greens and thyme, miniature roses, white and red, carrots, garlic in my bed, loganberry yet to fruit, morning glory under boot, transplanted Douglas iris waits, Watsonia eradicate, wheelbarrow of yarrow, lavender of sorts, western brand of milkweed dissolving planter's warts, succulents and cactus, borage, wandering Jew, canna, fern will help me learn, geranium will do, impatience, ceanothus, sage or manzanita, annual, perennial, biannual repeaters, coffee grounds, layered straw, mango pits for worms. I wet it down and heat it up as compost comes to term. That was by Maypole and Bud Opens.
You got about a minute and a half-ish.
Perfect. Loose ends. We won't get to
You're next.
the plots, sickens, but we'll do loose ends. This is sort of real. It's close as real as I can get. It's going to be, it's kind of long. I'll leave that. I'll go to plots ends. The other one's too long. I need a fix. Inject your poem directly into my bloodstream. That's better. I proclaimed I was looking for truth, but I only wanted company. Freeze frames flash in my head when you recite. Superimposition, your words, my picks. I'm riffing on the outer interface. Interfaith choir, sacred, profane. The line blurs. The cataract falls out of my eye into the camera, washes out the contrast. Subject and ground switch to object in the air. The red shoulder flies between me and the sun, using the window in its wings to highlight its prey. Hands in repose, pockets jingle with change as the old shell game disappears into the blind man's cup. Pencil me in for the 5th at Santa Teresa. Joker's tame. One-eyed Jacks pressing the Queen of Hearts for another beheading. The bishop motions his staff in a plethora of phylacteries, bit feathers, while eating caramel pleats. When suddenly my computer freezes, and I'm compelled to write this crap. That doesn't mean you have to read it. Confusion, confession, confection, conviction, convection. Once out of the oven, you get a rise by letting it cool before telling the frying pan you're fired.
The first mini of the evening, and now by prearrangement and ultimate. I'm going to stop on the head. David Beckman, come on up here. He's our second feature of the evening. Special arrangements allow him to be here. It's his first time, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to be the first time every time.
Well, you
That's a heck of
know,
a thing you got going here with first time.
we
I love
try
it.
to do our best. You know.
So thank you, Dan, and the other David and Kathleen and Antoinette and Brett, and I'm losing the other names, but
Bob, don't forget Bob.
Bob. Thank you,
He
Bob.
wasn't here, but don't forget.
Okay. Well, it's spring, and it's so much the favorite time of the year for most of us, or at least for me. So a couple of poems about spring. The first one is called Jazz in April. Street yields moon tracks, taxi notes, laugh skids. Clubs a cave where tables sway, legs sweating. Faces shine pale yellow. We swim in tequila and Mexican beer, while sax, bass, drums, keyboard talk in snatches. Cool, hot, sultry, slow. We're richer inside than out, alive as riffs. And this one, thank you. This one is called Yellow and White. They have the names, they have the same names as when my mother spoke them to me. Narcissus, hyacinth, crocus, daffodil. Spring instills them with the rude artifact hope, thinnest of webs between mind and heart. We traverse that net above last year's stems, stamens, pistils turned pungent black, tempting us to reach again toward this veiled promise, that bright shadow. So it rains in spring, as we know, and this one is called May Rain. Where wet bricks meet mist, mist veils the dawn. Rivers rise as if in rapture, and the sun goes pale, sucking light. A truck backs cranky up a driveway, drip tubes dropping from undercarriage to where pavement oil leaches up as if seeking. Aging irises moan and duck, dewed heads crumbling. Fenceward a brace of doves poses roundly while, confined indoors, a plein air painter contends with her still hands and roiling mind. So I grew up near Buffalo, New York, where it's very yeah?
Tonawanda.
Jamestown. A little further away. Same idea, too much snow, very cold. And my household was a little cold too. I feel like I grew up in an Ingmar Bergman movie.
Hope it wasn't The Hour of the Wolf.
Right.
Or the silence.
So, I have this boy in my head that I like to hang poems on. So it's a bit of a persona thing going on. This one is called Boy in Winter. Saturday, eyes fixed on steering rope, wool gloves hung with ice bells, snow crystals cold welding eyelashes. He sleds down his white world. His friends are bent ghosts on the hill, sleds trailing like tails bleached out, breath balloons leading them up. Later, house, a cavern of stiff beds, garage, a cave of wheels, basement suppressing snake gray shadows, doors enjambed, stairway frozen fast. Through iced windows the driveway glows with white light, while the down slanting street presents a grid of black bricks. At dinner table, soup, liver, lima beans. His sister, an alert doll going to curves. His mother, dishcloth in one hand, the other raised to recall some sad song, dances the few steps from dish rack to drawer and back again. In the living room, his father studies a map of Asia while easing a socked foot under the cat's belly to dissuade it from needing a purring calico pillow. That night in his room, he practices goodbyes before the mirror and envisions separating 100-year-old book's uncut pages, a miniature map of Europe, and smooth streets where snow melts to mezzotint while ladies twice his age saunter sideways toward him in French.
That's a wonderful last line.
Thank you. Thank you. We now have the boy in spring. Rain kissing grass, slugs slow writing silver mini histories on concrete walkway, cats sweet talking robin south of lilac bush. He oils his new Schwinn 3-speed in the garage and plans on winning the Tour de France year after next. Max swings in on his Western Flyer, red handlebars, aluminum chain guard, black racing seat, and they accelerate side by side down Halleck Street, skirting puddles' shallow edges. Clouds yield to sun and scent of forsythia as he takes the lead on a brick downhill, swerves to Pam's house, white clapboard house, skirts her mother's rose bushes, catches gravel driveway, stands on the pedals as behind him Max goes tentative, his wheels sinking in loose stones. Winner, he yells, and Pam near the porch, flowered short shorts, green halter top, hair yellow silk, skin sunlit, eyes gleeful, runs toward him,
He lifts her to the handlebars. They ride to Allen Park, unbike, and plunge hand in hand through columbines and baby willows to where the lake awaits, rain-ruffled, wind-scorched, and deep.
Beautiful. Do you have a little short one?
Yeah, I have a short one.
And then we got...
Yeah, I do have a short one.
All right.
So, like so many of us, I hope, like so many of us, I hope I stand with the kids today who left school to show us what courage is, something we maybe have forgotten, who to be intimidated by and who not to be intimidated by. I stand with these kids. This poem is called Florida, Mon Amour. Zinfandel poured, macadamia nuts set out in our yellow ceramic bowl. We settled in. You to read East of Eden, I to unbury the TV remote from under the Sunday Times and switch from Animal Planet's footage of extinct beluga, sturgeon, Atlantic halibut, bluefin tuna, African black rhino, and Java tiger, to Channel 46, where bodies of school children lay on concrete, their blood in broad paintbrush swaths, or spattered on sunflowers at the walkway's edge, prompting you, page held lightly between thumb and forefinger, to look up, weeping.
Yeah. Thank you. David Bisbee, ladies and gentlemen, our second mini.
Garrett Murphy, you're up.
Garrett Murphy, then Sharon, then Russell, then Hal, then Rob goes back to wrap it up. And we got, this is great. Thank you for that. And give Garrett a round as he comes up, please. Wonderful reader here. Good luck, Dave. Alrighty, daddy, who'd you do?
And this first piece is a homage of sort to the Women's History Month. The lady will not vanish. She stands herself with attention, steeling herself for the task at hand, taking a few deep breaths in and out her as she eyes the course that looms. It is, of course, taken numerous times before, as familiar to her as the whole of her form. The trip as a whole is past the halfway point. In a way, this task is just one more chapter. She knows too well what awaits her forward, the jives, the mocks, even out some whistles, as she proceeds with her journey for expression. These she knows by now are just mere envy. By now, though, she has learned to her soul that those during such, for the most part, only wish that they had had her courage and her defiance, and not chosen to abide by figurative jailers. So she starts on the path and she goes on her way, she moves and she acts unexpressive today. Even she isn't always aware of particulars, but she goes on and moves on and dares to go forward. At last she has come to the end of her course. The chapter is concluded and another will come, but she has triumphed as over life itself. She has created still another masterpiece. The figurative jailers can only look with scorn, for try as they might, and for all they may snipe, the lady has not vanished, and the lady will not vanish. 50 years. 50 years will it be since that Thursday Eve when the newscast came in that a king was dead? Shot down in Memphis 10, the shock was gigantic and the shock waves had yet to fully subside. The gravity was felt even to one too young to fully grasp, but not to ignore the name. As the para and the verse approach and come go, the adversaries are much the same yet newly and bold. Yet they in a way are already overcome by their own narrow sight, for the king's dream remains. The sinking tower of rhymes with Crisco. Like present-day imitators of Yoda the Turtle, the city parents and developers did it this time. All they really had to do was to simply build a new transit center, but of course, who do we think we are? Anyone can build a simple transit center, but we're SNF, the city that really knows how. There's nothing going higher than we. We'll build us a transit center capped by a building that will really help to build us up to the stars. So they build up and build up and build up some more, and behold, that tower was built, a marvel of the ages. But what's that odd sound, that sinking sound? Not quite the burping sound of a Mac, but equally ominous. A gasp roars out, and it plainly clear that that tower is beginning to sink like paralysis into the earth. Those developers might dare to rise to the stars, but it appears they may really sink to the fallen stars. They really should have known that to build on sand, salty enough to go through hourglasses. So sorts of hubris as city leaders and builders. But you can never keep a big ego down for long. Hey, look on the bright side, at least we've done Italy a few better. They just have a leaning tower of Pisa, but we have, ladies and gentlemen, the sinking tower of, well, you know. Thank you, Knots. We thank you for tormenting us, for calling us names, for harassing and profiling us, for assaulting us with your slaps, your fists, your weaponry, your spittle, and for shouting obscenities and slurs in our faces. We thank you for your collective punishment, for your destroying our property, our loved ones, our very own lives, and please accept our thanks to you for your attempts to destroy our self-esteem and pride. You've done us a tremendous service we shall not soon forget, and should you truly believe any of the above, then you, Civil Mountains, are truly no more than just another perpetrator. Thank you.
Sharon Scott Fish, the novelist, the writer, the artist, the bon vivant, the singer, and I would say more things, but she's probably going to get tired of me going on and on like that. So I won't. I'll stop while I'm ahead. Actually, I was ahead a while back, and I was just losing the crown.
This is from American I Am. It's from the Pass It Down cookbook, which is an African American cookbook. The Peanut Doctor. The Missouri-born child of a slave girl, George Washington Carver, was destined to be different. When he was just 1 week old, he was kidnapped along with his mother and sister from their little home in Diamond Creek, Missouri plantation of slave owner Moses Carver. Only George was recovered by his master, trading a racehorse as ransom. When slavery ended a year later, Moses Carver, a German immigrant, raised him to study, to read, and it meant relocating to a town 10 miles away so he could attend a black school. He moved to Kansas to attend high school and later college, which rejected him after admittance when upon arrival they saw he was an African American. But George persevered and working as a tenant farmer until he saved enough money to go to college in Indiana. And years later, his work on the farm, growing substance crops which would influence his work as plant pathologist and mycologist, he specialized in crops that were easy to grow in poor soil, providing a living for the poorest farmers, most of them African American. George Carver was touted as the new Renaissance man. He was called the Black Leonardo by Time magazine in 1941 because he was accomplished in music and art as well as science. But it was his scientific accomplishments that made him famous. He was interested not only in crop research, but how plants could protect and relieve from diseases like polio. He's known for his work with peanuts as his laboratory at Tuskegee, Alabama, where he created peanut products for the modern forms we know today, including peanut butter, peanut oil, and peanuts. Watermelon. Eva would never let me eat watermelon in public. This was not unusual for blacks. It was a rule. We never went to the Watermelon Hill in Swope Park. Some blacks did, though. Swope Park is in Kansas City, Missouri. There was only one shelter that blacks could go to in the park. Many, many years later, I went for a wedding in the park. A black bride given away by her uncle, Philip Curls, the state senator, in a beautiful mansion in the park. Everyone there was aware of Watermelon Hill, and we laughed. In the 40s, the park was desegregated, and basically that was it. That was all the only place we could go. In 1965, I moved to San Francisco, and I was on the bus, Muni, and it was one of those rare, hot October days. On the front porch, there were 3 little black kids eating watermelon. I broke out in a cold sweat. Memories of the past, just my luck sitting next to me, is this white woman. And she says, "Aren't they just cute?" The sweat rolled down my back, and I looked at her and snapped. Stereotypes are always cute to someone it's not about. She said, "I never thought of that way." I know you didn't, but think about it. My Italian. Johnny Robentini, Philip Morris. Cat's Drugstore, our favorite hangout, always treats and soda fountains. Cute boys behind the counter. We always had a special event to go to. Vanilla phosphates. Radio announces that Johnny of Philip Morris fame will be there on 27th and Ben, giving out cigarettes. Now mind you, this is the 40s, and you can sell cigarettes to kids. You can give cigarettes to kids. Janice and I get the okay, and we're off to see the little man. Well, the line is long, we have our dolls with us, and we busy ourselves with our own fantasy. She is Rock Hudson's wife, and I am Joe Andrew, John Ireland's wife. Figure that out. The men in front of us leave, and there he is, all 4 feet of him. His face is round, wrinkled, and his little voice is squeaky. You can tell by the look on his face that he is disappointed it's kids and that he really didn't want to be there. He reaches out to touch us and we snatch our hands back. We grab the cigarettes and we walk away. He mutters, "Damn little bitches." And we turn around and say to him, "Pretty little bitches." With that, he kicks the stand and with the cigarettes and walks outside, and we are right behind him. We turn around and look at him and go, "You ain't so cute."
From the upcoming book, the manuscript excerpt.
Russell comes out.
Russell, who is new here tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not actually new.
Well,
I've been here in 18 years.
okay. Well, you know, of course, short hiatus.
Don't ever admit that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to read this thing. It's not totally my typical thing to read to the way I write, but my was read it as part of a eulogy recently. There's a little, only a tiny bit of context here because a lot's explained in the piece. A friend of mine died in an ATV accident that probably could have been prevented because the 2 people, and I was about to say something bad, but the 2 guys that he went out with were high on meth, and they were already 2 miles out before they realized he wasn't following them. Doctor told me in that time he lost enough oxygen to his brain. He slipped into a coma. He was in a coma for about 4 months before he finally passed. And those 2 guys were on suspension at the place I work now for constantly making misogynistic comments and rape jokes. So that's been the environment that I've been in. So that's what this is about, and it's about my friend Jay Woodring. He was a great guy. And it's written in Pantone, so the lines repeat. I'm not being redundant on purpose. It's the form. Seeking a sense of closure, a sense of completion, yet hoping for one of those rare miracles. And yet love continues and transcends all tragedy, after months now of comatose suspension. hoping for one of those rare miracles, and most certainly deserving of one, after months now of comatose suspension, to simply wake up as if nothing had happened. Most certainly deserving of one, a friend so kind, considerate, compassionate, simply wake up as if nothing had happened, but something did. Something horrible did. A friend so kind, considerate, compassionate, nothing this bad should ever come to such a good man. But something did. Something horrible did. And we left in our painful prayers, our unbearable grief. Nothing this bad should ever come to such a good man. Yet here we are now, so many touched by art's magnanimous spirit. And we, left to our painful prayers, our unbearable grief, left with persistent notions of how it could have been prevented. Here we are now, so many touched by art's magnanimous spirit, such the opposite of the toxicity of masculinity that pervades this community. Left with the persistent notions of how it could have been prevented, haunted by the peculiar combination of conditions that cultivated this misfortune. Such the opposite of the toxicity of masculinity that pervades this community. Art's generous good nature was authentic manhood. Haunted by the peculiar combination of conditions that cultivated this misfortune, he struggled with his own demons, but he owned up to them in his own way. Art's generous good nature was authentic manhood. Responsive, hardworking, efficient, and helpful. He struggled with his own demons, but he owned up to them in his own way. We had a functional understanding. Responsive, hardworking, efficient, and helpful. We had designated times we spent together, constructive and fun. We had a functional understanding. I, his Muslim friend, depressed but sober, was always the designated driver. We had designated times we spent together, constructive and fun. We accepted one another without shaming or judgment. I, his Muslim friend, depressed but sober, was always the designated driver. I never questioned his condition, and he never questioned mine. We accepted one another without shaming or judgment. We witnessed one another's natural progress towards wellness. I never questioned his condition, and he never questioned mine. We inspired one another to simply be better. We witnessed one another's natural progress towards wellness. My happy, enthused companion who always rode shotgun, we inspired one another to simply be better. I will testify, his life was clearly on an upward trajectory. My happy, enthused companion who always rode shotgun, scientific curiosity, Magic the Gathering, anime, and now poetry. I will testify that his life was clearly on an upward trajectory. But there is no passenger seat on an ATV. Scientific curiosity, Magic the Gathering, anime, and now poetry. Hours geeking out on the wonders and mysteries around, within, and beyond us. But there is no passenger seat on an ATV. There is no such joy in the testosterone-fueled intoxication of toxic masculinity. Hours geeking out on the wonders and mysteries around, within, and beyond us, understanding more and more that our authentic manhood is our humanity. There is no such joy in the testosterone-fueled intoxication of toxic masculinity, and life is a game of chutes and ladders, of advances, setbacks, and unseen trapdoors. Understanding more and more that our authentic manhood is our humanity. Art and I had nothing to prove to one another. Life is a game of chutes and ladders, of advances, setbacks, and unseen trapdoors. He was not my bro, my bra, my brewski. He was my beloved friend. Art and I had nothing to prove to one another, no common enemies to bond over, nor any cruel pretenses of machismo. He was not my bro, my bra, my brewski. He was my beloved friend. And I miss him. And I will continue to miss him for a long time. No common enemies to bond over, nor any cruel pretenses of machismo. You want us to celebrate life, his life. Yeah, sure, but give us a moment to grieve. I miss him, and I will continue to miss him for a long time. For some of us, grief is a necessary process of realization. He's gone. He's dead. You want us to celebrate his life. Yeah, sure, but give us a moment to grieve. Death is too tremendous of a shift, too huge of a loss to pretend it doesn't hurt. For some of us, grief is a necessary process of realization. He's gone. He's dead. I seek no intoxicants, and I cannot avoid this pain. I can only face it, feel it, and deal with it. Death is too tremendous of a shift, too huge of a loss to pretend it doesn't hurt. I am forever changed by art. For some of us, grief is a necessary process of realization. He's gone. He's dead. Memory and spirit persists. Prayer and hope continue. I am forever changed by art. His death is filled with meaning for me. And yet, love continues and transcends all tragedy, despite the current grief that envelops us all. Seeking a sense of closure, a sense of completion. Thank you.
Wow. Russell, Hal Robbins and Rob. It's been Lauren Bacall, Charlie Sheen, Martin Shore, and Alistair Crowley.
Only those?
Well, they said they'd be here. Coming up. Give them another round of applause.
Thank you. An unusual thing happened to me on the way here today. I usually take 3 buses, and the middle one just didn't come because the 22 Fillmore apparently had a bad accident downtown, so I had to walk to link to my other bus. And I stopped in at Aardvark Books, that store that we were told was going to go away because of that real estate deal that Scott Wiener made. But I talked to them, and that has fallen through. Mr. Wiener has moved upward in politics, and the bookstore will stay. Anyway, in the play, The Night of the Iguana, a minor character is an elderly, dying British poet who travels around with his daughter, and they do poetry recitations and pass the hat, and that's how they live. And he is ready to die as soon as he finishes his last poem, which by the end of the play is composed. And this is that poem. How tranquilly the olive branch observes the sky begin to blanch, without a cry, without a prayer, with no betrayal of despair. Sometime when light obscures the tree, the zenith of that life must be past, done forever, and from thence a second history will commence. A chronicle no longer gold, of bargaining with mist and mold, and finally the broken stem, the plummeting to earth, and then an intercourse not well designed for beings of a golden kind, whose native green must arch above the earth's obscene, corrupting love. And still the ripe fruit and the branch observe the sky begin to blanch, without a cry, without a prayer, with no betrayal of despair. Oh, courage, could you not as well find out some other place to dwell? Not only in that golden tree, but in the frightened heart of me? And I found this copy of a Signet Mad book in the store. They used to do poetry parodies back when kids studied poetry at school.
Or parody.
Yeah, or parodies. Or parodies. Oh, anyway, I thought I would share this. It's When I Was a Used Car Salesman by A.E. Hausfrau. When I was a used car salesman, I heard the boss man say, "Give free balloons to kiddies, but not this Ford away." Talk loud about no cash down, and 30 months to pay. Give radios and heaters, but not this Chevrolet. When I was a used car salesman, I heard him say again, sell each clod some jalopy, don't let his interest wane. Put sawdust in transmissions, claim recapped tires are new. Now I'm a used car dealer, and oh, 'tis true, 'tis true. Thank you.
I think Sharon has the attribution sheet. Oh,
I know always stay a quill.
where's
Because you're such a pill.
where's okay? But where's the attribution
I'll write
sheet?
it down on something. And you'll get it.
Oh,
It was here, and then people, they don't know, and I don't know either. What's the name?
where did it go?
Yeah.
Well, it's the paper with the attributions that we pass around to sign.
On a clipboard, could it be under
No,
your...
it's not on here. It's on
I got it.
I got it? Okay. Oh, I gave that to you so you could put the name of that book on. He'll get it for you in a second. So do you want to go now because he's the last person?
Me?
Yes. Do you want to? Okay, so he came in, so you're going to go after him. You know, Marco Harps is here, so give him a bit of a round of applause here. He's going to judge your...
B flat because I couldn't locate
I didn't bring the horn because I didn't know whether you'd be here or not. All right, here we go.
Horny bunch. I found these shades yawn behind these silver uncomfortable chairs. Anybody own shades? The unheard of low price, whatever's nice. I'll do this in a poem form. A song you've heard many times me do, or a song you've heard me do many times, whichever you like. If you like either one, you think I'm here to have, if you have fun, I'm here for me. Only me, it's all about me. Did I mention me? So this is about our rich Uncle Sam, and the initials are US, which is us, so it's about us too, meaning me too. Did I mention it's all about me? The Grateful Dead said red and white, and then blue suede shoes. Well, you can call my mess some same old new US blue. I am Uncle Scam. I spell it S-C-A-M. And I've been hiding out in the swamps of Vietnam, the sand and Sudan. I'll make you believe I killed Bin Laden. Then like Nixon of old, I'll beg your pardon, I am Uncle Scam. I spell S-C-A-M. I will blind your mind, you will believe I am kind. I'll poison all your waters, your unborn sons and daughters. Steal your women's voices, rob all your choices. Then I'll take your taxes. That's what the facts is, I am Uncle Scam. But that genocide, just suicide. Uncle Scam can't hide for too long. Our eyes are open way too wide, and our love is much too strong. So what's it gonna be between this wild world and me? Hate or harmony? Peace or insanity? Red me. I am Uncle Scam. That's who the hell I am. And I've been hiding out in the product soul man. That's my friend Mike. We always show you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Bravo, bravo. Bravo, bravo. And now the what do we call this guy? We call him the last word, the super duper clincher closer. I mean, the clincher closer, super duper bulldozer. Opens the second half and closes it off right before our very eyes. This man right here, Bob.
Yes, thank you. Where's our feature? Where's our featured speaker?
Oh, I think she is indisposed, as they like to say.
I'll see. I have one poem and one song, a little something funny to end our night. So let's adjust.
Are you sure it's funny?
I'm not sure.
Oh, good. Because then we can laugh with the band in, or with our mouths.
Or without the band.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. That should be okay. All right. This song is called "Every Child." Every child is a ray of hope. Every child is a ray of love. Every child is a ray of peace. Every child is a piece of meat. Will a child be born today who will learn to love a stranger? Will a child be born today, gentle, kind, and true? Will a child be born today who will understand forgiveness? Will a child be born today who will love when no one loves? Will a child be born today who will teach us about being human? Will a child be born today who will wipe out fear and hate? Or will the dingoes get her? Will the dingoes get him? Are those dingoes gonna eat her? Pack of dingoes gonna chew him? Is a shark gonna get her? Big bear gonna eat him? Crocodile gonna get her? Or maybe some goddamn crabs? Will a child be born today who will... Wait a minute, hold on. Freeze that thought. This is the first time I've done this song ever. Yes. Every child is a ray of hope. Every child is a ray of love. Every child is a ray of peace. Every child is a piece of meat. And what about a cheetah? I can't run as fast as a cheetah. Now if I can't run as fast as a cheetah, the little child is screwed. Look at the person next to you. Do they look wise or humble too? What if they're eaten by a kangaroo? Tomorrow, kangaroo poo. Will a child be born today who will show us what it means to give? A brand new way to live, so that all the people will say, every child is a ray of hope. Every child is a ray of love. Every child is a ray of peace. Every child is a piece of meat. A yummy piece of baby meat. And a ray of love.
Philosophical pieces.
Philosophical, yes. All right. Is our feature back yet? Where is our feature?
I thought that was a philosophicus piece.
Yeah, there we go.
This is for you. I'm going to break one of my rules here. I have never repeated a piece at a specific venue, but in our speaker's presentation, she revealed something about herself, and so I just have to read this little poem. This is called, oh no, I'm not even going to tell you the title. I can't. Here we go. Our species, our world are fucked. I'm sorry, just do the math. And poetic protests, naught but worthless pleading and pointless wrath. The only happy death I can imagine is being raped and killed by Sylvia Plath. Thank you.
Was the song yours? Okay, you don't have to do that. Give me another round, please. Lovely childhood memory song. All right.
10 minutes or less, so break me first.
All right. All right, so what I'm going to do here, when you signed in, you put your name next to a number. Notice the numbers on the card. And you want to just cut this deck for a moment? Very quickly. There you go. Thank you so much. And now, the prizes again. Howl. Pocket of verse. Bigger than they appear. Small poems, which are small, but they're bigger than they appear. Poem Crazy, a great collection of prompts for writing. Now, where did these come from again?
Ocean Beach.
Ocean Beach Pebbles. Yes. A book, a red book that is blank on the inside, Jacques Corn, To Be Believed and Heard, and also Contemporary Haibun, which is small pieces of prose followed by poems that match. Then there's the mini feature, the co-pilot, the keynote.